some screws. I'll be right back.
Oh, for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna do everything, man.
I gotta run it. I was gonna do it.
They can wait on that.
That's why I sat around the corner.
Yeah, I'm saying that ain't. Yeah, but I mean, you can go. I mean, you pretty much work here. Yeah, you're Benny gonna try to get that pizza. You know. Go ahead, yeah. Who said that? They wanted two more.
Check 1 2. Check, check, check 1 2 3 4 5.
You see right on the side of it, right the front? Yeah, yeah. You see that little piece I'm talking about right there? Yeah, yeah, right there.
Smith, you doing okay? Yeah. Good. How are you doing?
Splitting my time between Baldwin and New Hampshire while your fiance's family in Alabama.
Okay, so.
Where in Alabama? Understood. Right on the plane. They haven't even I'm in, whatever, and I promise you I'm
Good to see you again. Congratulations. Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. Seems like a strong group. We found some allies.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. What a great day, isn't it? Aren't we happy to be here? My neighbors. As our colleagues gather, may I thank you all, not only for being here, but being there on this issue for such a long time. At last, we have history in the making. But not only are we on the right side of history, we're on the right side of the future, expanding freedom in America. So I'm honored to be here with Leader Schumer, who's on his way. You'll be hearing from Representative Cicilline, Senator Baldwin, Rep. Nadler, and our wrap-up. We're honored to welcome over on the House side Senator Collins. Thank you, Senator Collins. As we shall we say, anticipating Leader Schumer, may I just introduce some of our members. Sharice Davids of Kansas, Angie Craig of Minnesota, the newly engaged Chris Pappas of New Hampshire, Richie Torres of New York, Chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Mark Takano of California. David Cicilline, I mentioned already, one of the chairs of the Equality Caucus, the sponsor of the Equality Act, which we have yet to do. Mr. Cicilline, thank you. Of course, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler. Thank you, Jerry. And our member of the leadership from New York, Sean Patrick Maloney. When they said he was on his way, I thought they meant from his office. Oh, he's here. I didn't know whether it was from Brooklyn or from the Senate side or what. And let us welcome back to the House side our former colleague here, this one we're so proud of, Mr. Leader Chuck Schumer. This is an emotional day for many of us here. I see some of my neighbors from San Francisco here, and as I spoke on the floor, I referenced, you can come up here now. If you wish, or you can sit.
About the same height.
We've been working together for a long time, so what passes for humor in the Senate side, not necessarily.
It took me 12 years to get her to laugh at my jokes.
He said plural. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about plural. But anyway, it is a happy day. As I said on the floor, and I had the picture of Phyllis and Dell just two wonderful San Franciscans who were the first to be married in San Francisco when Mayor Gavin Newsom, then Mayor Gavin Newsom, instituted this in our city. And I also want to mention Jim Hormel, who was the chair of my campaign when I ran for Congress, and I officiated at his wedding. The three of them are shining down on us from heaven. Today, Congress sends the Respect for Marriage Act to the President's desk, a glorious triumph of love and freedom. Let us salute those who've legislated and advocated relentlessly to make this bill the law of the land. Mr. Chairman, Jerry Nadler, Equality Chair David Cicilline, and all of his tireless co-chairs of that caucus on the House side, Leader Chuck Schumer, and they were all applauded earlier, so that, Senator Tammy Baldwin, formerly of the House as well. And again, to welcome to the House side, Senator Collins. Senator Collins, thank you. Again, her presence here is a statement to the bipartisan, bicameral support this legislation has. Today, we stand against an urgent threat, and we succeeded, for the values that our nation holds dear. Since the monstrous Dobbs decision, right-wing forces have set their sights on more of America's personal freedoms, including the right to marry the person you love. Our history has always been about expanding freedom until that decision. We are privileged to be joined by Judith Casson Windsor, the loving wife of iconic trailblazer late Edith Windsor. Wave the book, wave the book, there's the book. Thank you for honoring us with your presence and for serving us with your courage, and we miss Edith.
Twice now.
Yeah.
I did the first one.
Yes, and here we are. Now this time should make it work. Edith Windsor once said of marriage, for anybody who doesn't understand why we want it, we need it. It is magic, she said. It is magic. This legislation honors that magic, protecting it from bigoted extremism, defending the inviolability of the same-sex and interracial marriages. The Respect for Marriage Act takes key steps to uphold marriage equality under federal law. This is what we're celebrating. Tearing down the Defense of Marriage, taking off the books for good. Enshrining married couples' right to equal protection, requiring that every state recognize all valid marriages out of state as long as it is recognized in the state of their marriage. The legislation reflects Democrats' belief in the dignity, beauty, and divinity of every person. And you may know the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell was one of my final, Chuck, I was saying this too, one of the final bills that I signed as Speaker the first time around, December 2010, was the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So you can just imagine how exciting it is at this point, at the end of this term as Speaker, to be signing the Respect for Marriage Act. And with that, I want to yield to our former colleague in the House, a champion on these issues. Remember when we did HOPWA, Housing Opportunity for People with with AIDS, so many years of service to the community, for our country, for freedom. Distinguished Leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer.
No matter where she stands, her stature is always enormous. Wow, this is a great day. Now, for millions of Americans, today is a very good day, an important day, a day that's been a long time in coming. We are sending the Respect for Marriage Act to the President's desk. Today, the long but inexorable march towards greater equality takes a very important step forward. Because of our work together, the rights of millions of LGBTQ Americans will be strengthened under federal law. As I've said many times, the Respect for Marriage Act is deeply personal to many of us in the Congress, many of us here, and certainly to me. My wife and I are so proud that our daughter and her wife are expecting their first child, my third grandchild, in the new year. Today, thanks to the tireless advocacy of many in this room, and the dogged work by many of my colleagues, my grandchild will live in a world that will respect and honor their mother's marriage. So yes, this is about millions of LGBTQ Americans in the country, but countless other lives of children and families will also be impacted as well. This legislation is a chance to send a message to Americans everywhere. No matter who you are, who you love, you too deserve dignity and equal treatment under the law. Under the law. That's about as an American ideal as it gets. I want to thank everyone from both chambers who shepherded this bill to the finish line. And of course, I thank Speaker Pelosi and Representative Cicilline and my good friend Jerry Nadler. On the Senate side, I want to thank once again Senators Sinema and Baldwin, as well as Collins and Tillis and Portman. Their work has been magnificent, and I'm so thankful they stayed the course, even when success seemed elusive. Pushing respect for marriage over the finish line required patience and persistence. Today, it's paying off. Most of all, thank you to the American people, the vast majority of whom have understood that the inexorable march towards equality is at the core of the American being. You made this bill possible, America. You made change happen, America. Because of you, the American people, we are taking one step closer to fulfilling our mission of a more perfect union. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is David Cicilline. I chair the Equality Caucus in the House and represent the great state of Rhode Island. And I have the privilege of speaking today on behalf of all of the co-chairs of the Equality Caucus. First, to say thank you to everyone in this room. Today is a great day and a day for extraordinary celebration for our community. For the first time in a decade, we're sending a major LGBTQ+ civil rights bill to the president's desk. And it is delivered to the president's desk with strong bipartisan votes in both chambers. That's worthy. As the speaker would say, that's an applause line. And everyone in this room and so many other LGBTQ+ leaders around the country have been such a part of this work and are part of this success. The vast majority of Americans, as you know, agree that marriage equality is settled law in this country. And with today's vote, Congress has provided much needed security to same-sex and interracial couples who have built their families and lives around marriage equality. And we hope the day will never come when Obergefell is overturned, but the historic passage of the Respect for Marriage Act shows Congress's commitment to protecting the rights of the American people and their access to marriage equality. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's been part of this work. I want to end with a particular thank you to our speaker, who began her career in the House fighting to help us confront the ravages of the AIDS and HIV pandemic in this country, and is at least ending her speakership with this important success. There has never been, my guess is there never will be, a stronger ally and more effective ally for the LGBTQ plus community in the Congress of the United States than Speaker Pelosi. So we thank you.
Well, I am delighted to be here on this incredible occasion, and I also want to recognize a couple of folks who have joined the stage. Mark Pocan, who's my congressman, so I want to take, as well as Majority. Oh my gosh. Barney Frank! Oh my gosh. Okay, another choke up, welling up of the tears moment. David Cicilline has the honor of chairing the Equality Caucus. Barney and I have the honor of having founded it a few years back. But today we are making history, but we're also making a difference for millions of Americans. We're taking a step forward in the fight for equality and ensuring dignity and respect for all Americans. With the passage of the Respect for Marriage Act, we can put to rest the worries of millions of loving couples who are concerned that someday an activist Supreme Court may take their rights and freedoms away. We are giving these loving couples the certainty that their marriages are legal and that they will continue to have the same rights and responsibilities and benefits of every other married couple. We are telling these Americans that we see them and we respect them. On the Senate side, I think we can say we defied political gravity and earned a dozen Republican members' support for marriage equality. Many people are asking what the passage of this historic bill means to me as a member of the LGBTQ plus community. What I said to people who asked me a similar question in 2012 when I was first elected to the Senate still rings true today. I didn't run for the Senate to make history. I ran to make a difference. But the difference today is that we get to do both. We're making history and making a difference for millions of Americans. And next, let's hear from Judiciary Committee Chair Nadler.
Well, thank you very much. This is truly a great and historic moment. When I first introduced the Respect for Marriage Act in 2009, it was seen as fringe legislation that would never see the light of day. To be standing here now, about to send this bill to the President for his signature, would have been unimaginable to most people back then. But thanks to the hard work of the advocates who never wavered and who never lost sight of the goal of achieving marriage equality, as well as the courageous leadership of Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer, we are on the cusp of a great moral victory. I want to thank David Cicilline and the co-chairs of the LGBTQ plus Equality Caucus, the chairs of the Congressional Tri-Caucus, and Hakeem Jeffries for joining me in introducing this legislation in the House, and Senators Baldwin and Collins for everything they did to assure passage in the Senate. It was just reported the other day that there are now more than 1 million same-sex couple households. Many of them are raising children in loving families. This legislation provides the security and the dignity that each one of those families deserve. I am grateful to everyone who helped us get here today, and I look forward to watching President Biden sign this bill into law. And next is Senator Collins.
Last but not least, let me begin my comments today by thanking all of the leaders who have gathered here, but in particular, my partner, Tammy Baldwin in the Senate. The Speaker reminisced a bit about the repeal of the discriminatory Don't Ask, Don't Tell law. And I am proud to have been the Republican sponsor of repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I'm also proud to have been the Republican sponsor with Tammy of the Respect for Marriage Act. When I think about this bill, I think about how much it matters to people in each of our lives, our family members, our coworkers, our neighbors, our friends. It affects more than 1 million households in this country, but each and every one of us knows someone, has a relative, or are that person who is benefiting from this bill. And that's why it's so important. It's a bill that truly will make a difference to the lives of so many American families. And that's why it matters so much. There are some people who haven't been thanked today. I want to thank the 39 House Republicans and the 12 Senate Republicans, because without their votes, we would not be standing here today. And believe me, Senator Tillis and Senator Portman and I, on the Republican side, worked so hard. On Thanksgiving Day, as I was basting the turkey, I was also texting with them, taking phone calls, to the point where my relatives and my husband said, could you please give it a break just for Thanksgiving? But I couldn't, because it was so important. I also want to thank the group of faith-based organizations that worked so closely with us and endorsed the bill. We've proven that it is not about rights for LGBTQ community versus rights for churches, mosques, synagogues, temples. We can advance both, and that's what this legislation has done today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Collins. Not only were those Republican votes necessary to pass the bill, it makes it even more special that we're doing so in a very strong bipartisan way. Thank you for your leadership, your ongoing leadership from Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Now, in case you are wondering, the bill isn't here. It's coming in a minute. And in the meantime, I just want to acknowledge some of our colleagues who have, see what happens after you pass the bill. There's all this parchment paper. There's a whole process here that usually goes like this, and hopefully it'll be just a moment. But in the meantime, let me acknowledge the distinguished Majority Leader of the House, Steny Hoyer of Maryland. Tammy acknowledged her congressman, our Congressman Mark Pocan of Wisconsin. I'm coming yet. And I know we're all thrilled to see Barney Frank here. Barney, I was chatting with Barney earlier, and we said in the beginning we did the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But before that, one of the first bills we did, and we would not have been successful without Barney's leadership, sharing his personal story when we had the hate crimes legislation, which was fully inclusive, including LGBT. They just said, you can pass this in a minute if you take out transgender. I said, we won't pass it in 100 years unless we have transgender in there. So thank you, Barney, for your leadership. Now that I see the bill is arrived and alive, I'll scale back my next 20 minutes by saying this. I mentioned on the floor Phyllis Lyons and Del Martin, pioneers, icons, and all this. I mentioned Jim Hormel, such a champion, the first openly gay ambassador of our country, appointed by he was appointed by Bill Clinton. But people say to me all the time, it's easy for you to do all of this because you're from San Francisco and people there are so tolerant. I said, don't use the word tolerant. Jackie will attest to this. Tolerant is a condescending word to us. This isn't about tolerance. This is about respect. This is about taking pride. And we all take pride. So, as Senator Collins mentioned, it was, and others have mentioned, they're all of you who made this possible. The inside maneuvering can only go so far without the outside mobilization. But I do, in closing, want to acknowledge some of my constituents and neighbors who were here 3 generations of the Dolby family. Thank you for your leadership and all of that. And now, we will sign a bill and send it to the president's desk. Mr. Schumer, will you join me? As we pass the bill around, you notice it's not very large, but it makes a tremendous difference.
I was here for the birth of Doma, so I am very grateful to be able to be here for the funeral, and it's kind of a New Orleans moment. We are tooting our horns for the funeral, a much happier occasion than the birth. But I just want to say something very important, not just about this bill, but about the job of legislating. I was chagrined to read criticism of Tammy Baldwin before the election for not pressing ahead with this bill to maximize its advantage as a political issue. And Tammy, through her own life experience, understood what troubles this caused for same-sex married couples all over the country. And she understood that resolving those fears was much more important than any political issue. And she stood up, and she was proven right. And I hope people will now take this as an example of responsible legislating, not being panicked by people who have more emotion than intelligence on an issue. And I just want to pay tribute to one of the great legislative achievements I've ever seen, Tammy shepherding this bill through.
Elected to the Congress of the United States. That took courage to run, to win, and she's demonstrated that courage.
doing, Barney?
Good. My
All
left,
right?
yeah, disc problems on both sides, so I'm not mobile, but otherwise.
Rain in his mouth, are you tired? You have energy.
Oh, yeah.
Always did.
Yes.
I'm glad what you said about that.
Oh, yeah.
We got such pressure,
I know that, including
oh, from everybody.
that's why I wanted to tell our friend, what do you call them? Yada, yada. They were the ones, those guys. Shame on them.
That's right. Well, they had no faith.
Thank you.
I love that.
Hey, your remarks are good. Funny and profound.
All right.
Get up and I'll move the chair. You can have a step. Other duties are the same.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot shot.
I haven't seen him forever.
Very excited. All right. So Morgan, gang, we're going to try to take a picture, team picture. So kind of start gathering here so we know if we're missing people.
It might include the podium, but.
You were being robbed. It was self-defense.
Do you hear, what do you hear on channel 2 right now?
So then they drop it back down another $1,000.
Like unusual audio or it's just like a room noise? Is it yours? Yeah, it's the, okay.
I know at some point.
Got it. All right, thank you. Yeah, no way.
Look at this guy, Mr. See him in the white shot.
I'm gonna give you voice sense or you good?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Come on in.
I'm not happy about this.
No, I'm not all that happy about it.
Excuse me?
Ow.
Hey, did I tell you I had a weak back
So-
about
so-
a week back?
So are you? So you're gonna hire movers?
That's a joke, right?
Yeah.
This is gonna be a joke.
You're gonna do the Craigslist thing again?
Hi, Darren.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting punished.
What did you do?
Yeah,
I stayed healthy, got booster shots.
I just,
well,
God, I can't. When I was younger, I was okay moving. I can't. I just can't do it. I can't pack all my shit in. This is the last house I've ever been living in.
I mean, that's what I was hoping for when I bought my house.
what's going on? You want to know?
Yeah.
Send it to you.
I'm the guy working.
Now I'm in,
Yeah.
A,
Plans don't always go as you think they're gonna go.
Kids, but they don't really know
And
me.
then not
Like,
knowing that I
I'm
was
just trying to learn. Yeah.
I've been there like 7 times.
Ooh.
What are they doing? What are they doing? Hey, thank you, sir. They should be shadowing you with these things. Simon, man, what you doing, man?
What?
I thought you were already checked in.
I'm a victim of my own
Yeah.
success.
What's the problem?
Came from a Pelosi.
Still testing stuff.
I'm fitting fire shield up, French flag, dude. Come on. It's
Hey,
great.
listen, when this is going on too, we want you looking through that eye.
And now I'm all right.
Absolutely.
Let me see. Yeah, test 1, 2, 3 should be channel 2. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test.
From the bad dad base.
Oh my gosh.
We all need a damn.
The huff.
Darren Alex. A buddy of mine went home, discovered his house was broken into, somebody stole all the lamps. He was delighted.
It is a camera. Yeah.
Who's going to Nashville?
So yeah, I'm sorry.
Here we go. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
I know all these.
You and Steve Mitnick are the dad joke. Oh, yeah.
Is it a line mic level maybe or?
Yeah.
The elephant check.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test. That's better.
Do this.
You see good sight.
Something about pygmies.
What a world you live in, man. I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't.
Douchebag. All right, what am I doing here? Okay.
You know what?
Dan, we ask that every day of you.
It's all right if you sleep.
Brett.
It's okay.
Brett,
So
come on.
long as you keep your eye in
Stop
that
it.
back.
It's hard keeping you propped up with that weak
That's
back.
a demand. That's not a request. That's a demand.
Where did they come from? Did somebody think?
Why not?
All right.
I had heard.
Is that him? Hyman, you get in trouble for not keeping your eye on the eyepiece?
What?
Did you get in trouble for not keeping your eye on the eyepiece?
I don't know if we got in trouble for that.
Wasn't there something about shooting an elephant in your pajamas?
Eating lunch, but
Last night I shot an elephant in my pajamas, so I got my pajamas.
I probably got in trouble for not getting the shot that I should have got. Oh, yeah?
Gold, Jerry. Gold.
Oh, man.
And as soon as the name came up, I said, "Oh, that fucking piece of shit." It was like, punch in the face.
Dude.
I'm like, No, I mean, that.
You literally have a both.
I know.
Two
Everything
cities.
is, you gotta stand there, maybe 10, 15 minutes. It's that.
And it says,
That's what
you were cordially invited to come alone.
You know, then I believe it.
I do, you know what
I'm
I.
sure they said that to, I am sure they said that to the Bureau. I was gonna say, oh, you probably too.
Which is, yeah, you know.
Yeah, we haven't been, the first time we've been there, a couple of years was last week.
I didn't expect to, but daily cruise.
It's just a, you know, an easy going person.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, what?
Yesterday at 1:30 for a party.
What? You got this yesterday?
Well, actually, Sarah,
Well, I think-
So is that the, that's the official?
I guess.
I thought today was just,
Yeah, he's,
Dave?
All right.
I was contacted by Sarah on Thursday. I'm like, no, Tuesday.
Yeah.
She said, you did
Last time,
decision on Monday.
somebody got in the way, they got ran out of the park.
They,
Then
you
she
know,
said,
if I don't get assigned,
I had
then I'll
gotten it on
work it
forward
tomorrow.
on Tuesday.
They don't like that.
And then.
There's not much for you to do, at least they create stuff for us to do.
Did you get it? So I went and checked. Hey,
On patrol.
he, you know, in this sort of mid-sized town, I don't know what the neighborhood was. We're just riding around looking for stuff, you know. So, there's,
it's just one.
you know, all the streetlights are out. So, there's, you come to, we're behind him. He and, what's her name?
Yeah.
This long, which is, no, she's now head of political stuff. Schumer, Kellyanne, yeah, Kellyanne. Yeah. Yeah, she was, you know.
I was gonna ask her, okay, I wanna, shine my good old shoe.
We're driving around, burning up with gas, we have no idea where we're going. You know, we can't just be driving around randomly.
Well, how would he get a hold of all of
End
this?
up, he's gonna be in trouble. So Jim was driving, and we're behind him about.
Yeah, you ever heard
So all
that?
the people, they come up to the intersection, you know?
Like, what are you doing here?
Normally,
Exactly.
I couldn't get one.
for whatever reason,
I knew someone was gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it.
This thing is gonna put
I know, it's
5
like,
years on the
I mean, the side of that vehicle.
If I gotta go swing in gear, I'm.
Yeah.
Going about 35 miles an hour. He was in a little Lexus.
Time to cash out of mine.
No, not Cicilline. It's a little hatchback. Thank God that thing had all those.
Who else got low?
They was, he could have, he had every, yeah, had every year. He could have.
The old figures. Right, it's his last.
He got it like last week.
That was the end of his house.
Really?
Did he have a going away party?
You know, they do not
You guys having a gone away?
traffic infractions like that if they find out.
The last couple
Even
of days, when we
speeding.
get out of town.
Speeding, just trouble. Like racing to the campaign stuff, racing to a pension event, you know, driving like 8 miles an hour.
Oh, dude, insult.
Oh, and did you know?
You're not gonna drive a car.
God, they don't even give you any time to
You
plan.
know what happened?
Obviously, that's the.
Oh, sure, yes.
Yeah.
You could, I mean, at least it's
Well, it wasn't matter, there were some declines, and so they had some extra spaces, so they, oh, here's Omar, here's Bill Albert, he's in the crew. Yeah.
No, but that's, what's funny is that. Money they already approved.
Jerry said, hey, you're gonna have to pay for this, at least that's an award.
Can I talk?
And I was going, I got like 3 in a row. I used to always go. Between like the MGM and.
Yes, they got like two cameras out.
Yeah.
Oh, she said, well, this, the first one. Right. Thank you.
So I hit the cruise control. But 10 miles was it, but I think my phenomenon was off because I ended up getting 2 more, even though I was hitting that cruise.
The thing is, I don't know if you can do that like that night, you know.
I was told it was 10 miles over there. They flashed with 10 miles. Then I put 8.
At 1 p.m.
Oh, okay. Because I, you know, especially out there, because I knew those cameras. And it's 50 miles an hour. I just go 50. I just go 50 for, it's only a mile.
And nowadays, they're like, it's not even right.
No, I don't think so.
But I was coming, like, when I come to the you know what I mean? I was
Oh, yeah.
just easing in and.
Yes. No traffic.
Or when I had an 11 collection. But yeah, it's got.
That's a lot of money
$100
down
here,
the drain.
$100 there. This is coming out of my pocket.
Towards Howard University, came in from Virginia. You know how they got the down, you know, past where, so we turn off here to go to the bureau, right?
Right.
And then you go further down that, the tunnel goes,
It keeps going.
keeps going.
Past where it goes to New York, right?
Yeah, it goes to New York, and once you get up to towards New York, there's a speed camera out there. And she kept getting these damn speed
We should
cameras.
get,
Now,
if
she
they
didn't have a lot of money, and I was paying her. And she'd come to me and she said, man, I got another day's ticket. And she didn't understand the concept of a speed camera. Right. I said, listen, it says like 45 miles an hour there. You cannot go above 45 miles an hour because there's a camera, takes a picture of your license plate. This is what you get in the mail, and it's, you pay $80, $100. Or I pay $80, $100.
Oh, this is it?
And she's like, finally she got me, you cannot go over 45 miles an hour. I was like,
Matter of fact, go 35 miles an hour.
yes. I'm not paying another one.
Is that how they say
She's down
you only go?
I know, I can imagine.
Oh my God.
No, but I don't know if that, I don't, maybe it's.
You're throwing it away. All you had to do was slow down. Plus.
That's why I was mad when I got 3, because I thought I made the adjustment, and I didn't make the adjustment properly.
Testing is required.
We got hit with it.
Guests must test at 1,700 Pennsylvania Avenue. What?
Red light.
Last night, so I was in the backseat. I was trying to catch some sleep.
I know Jackson.
This invitation is individual to you, non-transferable.
Why did I get a flash? But she stopped that.
Before I said no, they took that invite.
Got out and was like, no, I am clearly.
Maybe that's how
blind.
I would have it.
So, I'm sure it's a wait.
You know what I've seen, actually just the other morning, I was coming up to Constitution.
So-and-so bring his wife, flash, give him my.
15, I think.
Individual. That is so.
You know, turn, yellow, red.
And then you go in there and there's all these New York honchos with
Right.
their,
And it
their
flashed.
plus
So I
ones.
think, I don't know,
Because there's nothing on the schedule.
I'll bet you don't get it.
That's what I was telling you.
They're both of them were there yesterday. You said,
That's right. That's right.
Clearly see you behind the stop line. It's weight, it's a weight sensor thing. Weight and
Oh,
time.
maybe. Yeah, maybe it is.
you ever see Anthony anymore?
Oh, yeah, they know
Dude,
that it's stopped.
he is,
Yeah, I think
he's
I-
in-house, full-time freelance at CBS.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Someone who used to work
that's,
at
Doing audio still?
he's studio stuff.
Okay.
She's got one camera.
Warren G,
Right.
GP, at the House Studio, Studio A. Yeah, yeah.
No, I stopped. And you can look at it.
Yeah, Mike, Mic check 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. This is a microphone check. 1 2 3 4 5. All right. Thank you, sir.
I don't think we can that right. She just wins.
I did one of those California stops. Yeah. What's that?
Yes. No. I just.
That's what I heard.
If you need like any water, I got you. Yeah. But yeah. So I'm what Zeke was for a while. Pleasure.
Good meeting you. Rick with Fox, Dartese with Fox.
Pleasure meeting you guys. Pleasure. Yeah. So if you guys need anything or just whatever, feel free to let me know. No. You'll see me running for like manager of Burger King or something like that. You're good. Yeah. All right. It has some hits. Nuggets, not bad. Yeah.
The original cheese.
Nice part, gas go to
Exactly. I still like the Whopper. The Whopper's good.
Still go to Whopper Flame Broil.
Yeah. Every once in a while. I'm gonna switch back to that. I'll say this much. Burger King had its own like burger pizza at one point. So.
A burger pizza.
Yeah, like a burger that you could split with over the ham, like a giant one with like marinara, mozzarella, and something else. So you gotta give credit where credit's due. They're great.
All right.
Yes.
Now we remember over there.
It was like a thing for 2
It
months.
sounds like a fucking dream.
Yeah. It was like a thing for 2 months, and then it was like maybe too much.
I was gonna say, it didn't seem to catch on, or it didn't,
Yeah, I guess not.
no longevity to it.
Yeah, the world wasn't ready yet.
Wasn't ready?
The world wasn't ready.
Speaking of marinara, I went to Wendy's and they had a chicken sandwich where they put a whole mozzarella
Patty.
on top of his one
My friend told me about this.
with marinara.
Interesting.
I completely unhappy you're eating a fried chicken sandwich and a fried mozzarella patty on top of the chicken sandwich. You probably need to go 100 miles out there.
And after I'm done, when I do run that mile, I'll give that a try. I'll let you know how it is, because I'm low key, kind of considering.
All right.
Let me know.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you, sir. Nice meeting you.
This is all I get. I know you want from me some photo op.
I'm not hearing that.
This is all I get.
Every now and then.
So I gotta get some things together.
Bitters.
I gotta go,
No, we only had that one.
Sharon sent me his prompter script. I need to go upload that.
Yeah, we only had one.
To the drum. Yes.
Oh, no.
I need to go and,
The only guy on the hill today. What? You know, I gave you someone sent you guys. Excellent time to learn. Well, why should they do that when they work twice as hard?
At Barbizon.
I know.
Did you call him?
Did you give me a sound check?
Gotcha. Let me make sure those things. Yeah. It's just.
I know.
And he lay down. It's almost like a yellow jacket, but for Indians.
Testing. 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Yeah, I gotta go out to the house steps. Get a bit, so.
Why? Because starting here.
The house steps. Yeah, but it's warm out. I'm okay with it. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go home, so. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
God bless you.
We'll talk sometime.
Could you just say like 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, sure. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me?
When do you start Newsmax?
Let me know if you need me to keep talking, testing for the reporters, audio.
Newsmax is like so right. They're like,
Did you say so bright?
right. That too. So right. You're talking black and red eye.
Well, it's right. I mean, it makes sense for those Fox. You're not gonna go left, you go all the way back.
Sinclair or GM?
I'll check with mom. Maybe I don't know. They're relevant, they're paid. I guess it would kind of have to, yeah. No. What about after the concert? Would that be something? Or you guys going to eat dinner with them probably? Uh-huh. No? Oh, right, right. They were there too? Oh, right, 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 right.
Peter, would you be so kind as to,
He's on the phone, can't you leave him alone?
sorry, Ben.
Want to get a level? And a wise check? Will there be somebody up there just moments ago?
Shut up. Shut up. That's TFU. Whereas Christian got
How
me.
do you guys in HR department?
Christian, my buddy. Shut up.
Or Sunday afternoon?
And all you need to do is figure out how to get a vote. Because I feel like when you're in the keeping. Oh, you gotta have a vote. You gotta have a vote. You can't be in the keeping.
Oh, okay.
Brett,
Yeah, give it up. That's a hard no.
hard no?
Hard no. Here comes Ted Rock, he'll help you out.
I want 18
I mean,
fail.
going into
I want
that,
them to know that they should shut the kid out of there.
going into that baby camera of yours, it'll be just fine.
You gotta go.
Brett. Brett.
Yeah, you gotta go to Homestead.
Just totally out of it.
Daniel Huff. Mic check for the AP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hold on, Dunsky.
Dan, do you have your credential today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You asked for the mic check, then you tell me hold on. So typical of Dan Huff. You probably don't have your credentials again today either, right? Like yesterday?
You are wasting his time.
Come on, Dan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Penn State, no bueno. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Dan. Waiting for Speaker Pelosi.
Thanks, Dunsky.
Yep.
It really has. It really has.
Come on, baby, let's go to Chicago.
Dunsky.
Come on, baby, let's go to Chicago.
I heard there's a,
Right?
there's a population explosion in Ireland.
I mentioned that.
Dublin. No?
I know, I got one question.
Okay, how about this one? England doesn't have a kidney bank, but it does have a liver pool. I'm killing it in MCR. They love this in MCR. Dusky, I'm at the House Radio TV Gallery. You should see me on one of the Cap DA lines. Set this House Studio A.
Wasted his time. He got up to walk.
Correct, yeah. Ouch. I was afraid you were going to say that. Uh, yeah. It should be copper back to you guys, but yeah, I've got it's fiber to the patch. Yeah. I just saw something flicker. All right. Let me try a different box and I'll call you right back. Ciao. Bye.
This hurts watching this. It really does. And it doesn't get any easier than this, and frankly, you're embarrassed.
Familiar breeds content. Is that right, David? Because I'm not having much fun either.
Got it. Well, yeah. Dan Huff.
How long have you been doing this and this still
Dan.
happens?
Pull 7. Well, anyway. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah. That would work. All right. Well, let me know. Yeah. All good. Great. I will run again, but thank you so much for calling. Things worked out. Take care. Love you.
You're gonna go to the having a good time.
Yeah. I hear you. That's exactly what I did. That's what I did.
Can't offer it up unilaterally free of charge.
Sherry? Sherry Thomas?
Because she gave you a job?
Yes.
If she didn't, then what? You weren't going to go? You say, I can't.
Is it?
You didn't have to share that job.